with Combat Flip Flops in the Northwest Operations Center for Afghanistan, doing what we can to help be better humans. So, first thing, I want to talk interpreters. I know a lot of you who may be listening may have friends that are there, may have interpreters, people that are trying to get out. The one thing I will ask you is scrub all of your media of their names and faces. The enemy is smart. They're scouring the internet. All we're allowing them to do is to surf the internet, pick up their cell phones, and catch guys at the airport. Please, please, please stop putting their names and faces out there. If you guys need to raise money, just say you got somebody you need to get out and do it. Coordinate silently, coordinate patiently, but do not put their faces and names out there. If they're out there, delete them from your social media immediately. All right, looks like we're getting ready to go into this KUOW meeting here. Says the host will let us in soon. Anybody got any questions while we're waiting? See anything, Zach?
Scott Chapman requests to be in it.
No, tell Scott he can't. Not at the moment. We're getting ready to do a live media interview talking about Monier. So we were on Fox News this morning. I don't even know what show we were on. They're all kind of running together now. And we're on. Hey, good morning. Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought button. Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, we're busy.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I emailed Munir. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Monier. Yep.
Okay. And he said he should be able to join. I'm not sure when though. Considering he said his time difference, or he's in London.
Yeah, he's in London right now.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can just wait. Just a couple minutes. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, we live stream all of our interviews, so people are going to hear your voice. Just letting you know, you're live on air on YouTube,
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on all of our social media. So while we do these things, we also just talk to our audience and tell them things that they can do to help. So everybody wants to know what you can do to help. The things that are going on is they have lots of people who are leaving the country right now who have basic paperwork. They may have a national ID at best, so they're going to land in refugee camps. They're going to need food, water, shelter, and housing as they get all of their documentation done to process their visas to wherever they land. When they get here to the United States, they're going to need to have, they're going to need to be in process as well. There's great resettlement firms. I would recommend No One Left Behind. They're one of the leading guys in the charge on this. So they can help, organize all the information. They're also, if you're a business owner, you want to hire, if you're an American homeowner and you want to sponsor a family, you can register with them and they can pair you up together to help these Afghan refugees. And then, if you're a business owner, say these people are going to need jobs, so help them out. Okay, that's what we can say. And otherwise, just keep scrubbing your social media of their names and faces right now, because the enemy is smart. They're technology savvy. And they're going to be using all the information that you post out to run people down. We have created the largest fatal funnel in the GWAT history around Kabul International Airport. All we're doing is filtering people through that airport, and they're just waiting for them to come in, and they've got lists, right? And they're just going to yank people out of line. And these are people who are running with women, children, young, old, and they're really having a hard time getting through. Like we heard the story of one of Monier's friends yesterday. He was trying to get out, and while they were waiting in line, his wife got so dehydrated she passed out, and they had to take her to the hospital, potentially missing a plane, right? So we're telling all these people to be ready to go at a moment's notice, pack food and water, get to the airport, be safe about it. But right now, it's a straight up scramble for people to get to the airport and to get on aircraft.
Sorry about that. Can I ask what's the live stream for?
So we have a lot of media that just filters all of our media. And so we have a lot of talking points, and we're totally nonpartisan, but we just get scrubbed a lot, and there's a lot of information that we put out that people need to hear, so that's just what we do.
Okay,
Yeah.
oh, cool.
Easy enough.
I think we can wait until like 12:05 for Munir to come in. I know he said he might be able to, but if not, we can go ahead and get started.
Okay.
After then, but yeah.
All right, easy enough. So right now, what's that? So, sorry, nervous twitching. I've been at this for hours. Yeah, my audio just cut out on the internet. I think too many people are on the Wi-Fi. You got me again? No, it's me. No. It's my internet.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Earlier it broke up for me, so that's why I was like, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. All right. 12:05. Anything you want to preface? Is this going to be video? Is it going to be audio?
It's gonna be audio because it's for the radio station. It'll just be like a spot. I'm supposed to have it in by 3 p.m. today, so you might be able to hear it. Are you in the Seattle area?
Yeah, we're in Issaquah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so where can
Yeah.
people go to listen to it this afternoon?
Probably on All Things Considered. I'm assuming it'll be for the around 3 to 5, and you'll hear it until the end of the day.
So this is an NPR station?
Yes.
All right, so all things considered on NPR this afternoon, you'll get to hear this talk, but you get to see it here first live. All right, cool.
Okay, well, I can go ahead and get started.
Recording in progress.
And we are recording. So, what is your first and last name?
First name is Matthew, Matthew. Last name is Griffin, Griffin.
And what are your pronouns?
HMFIC.
Oh, no. Pronouns as in like, yeah, he, him.
I'm a he, him for sure.
Okay. And what is your title?
HMFIC. Otherwise known as CEO. Yeah, you can put HMFIC or CEO. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your organization?
Combat Flip Flops.
Okay. And where are you currently located?
Issaquah, Washington.
And so, can you tell me about the situation with Bonnier?
So Bonnier was a United States Special Operations Interpreter, served with Green Berets, Rangers, and SEALs for 12 years. For the past 9 years, he's been trying to apply with a special immigration visa. And we've been through 4 appeals with him, and he was continually turned down by the State Department. And his service was claimed as fraudulent by the Department of State because they messed up on the paperwork on dates. He served with the UK for 3 months as an interpreter, and that qualified him for a special immigration visa to the UK. In less than 2 weeks, the UK got his wife and him to London. They just got finished out of quarantine. They've got them in a flat. They're helping them get set up on their feet. And then we hired him an immigration lawyer to get to the United States. And so he'll be living in London until we can get his visa fully processed to the United States.
And so, if you don't mind me asking, I'm pretty sure you answered this right, but like, how did the two of you know each other? Did you guys personally work with each other?
So he's been the interpreter for Combat Flip Flops, our company, since 2012. He's been our independent guy on the ground to put eyes on things. So I went there as a business owner in 2012. I needed an interpreter, so I leaned on a fellow West Point classmate, Greg Adams, who was a Green Beret, and he said, "This is my guy. I trust him with my life. He can take care of you and take care of your family." So we showed up without knowing Bonnier at all, just by meeting him on Facebook with a photo, walked out of an airport, and he bounced us around Afghanistan for 2 weeks, keeping us safe. And he's been a trusted member of our team ever since.
And so, I think I kind of wanted to. So, all 3 times they've kind of just turned him down over the past almost decade.
Almost a decade, yes.
Despite all of the work that he's done, I'm so sorry, it's a little bit hard for me to wrap my head around. And the UK just kind of within 2 weeks.
Yep.
Why do you think the processes are so different?
The reason why the process is so different is the United States Department of State is lazy. You can look at every single report they have, and the most recent SIGAR report, and I encourage all people to go to sigar.mil, SIGAR, and it clearly states personnel as the Department of State was clearly incapable of leading the objectives they were mandated to lead. The SIV process was one of their processes that they had to lead, and they were completely incapable of doing it. They contract these packets through domestic firms to just sort through the process, and these are people with no skin in the game. So if a date doesn't align, it's just easier for them to say, no, this doesn't make sense, close the packet and send it back. And this is somebody sitting comfortably in the United States who is saying no because it's easier to say no than to do the work. And meanwhile, you have a guy who's getting in gunfights, supporting US service members, leading them around the country, keeping them alive, and they're just not getting responses. It took us almost a year to figure out what the exact reason was they were claiming us fraudulent. We filled out with the Department of State, with senators and congressmen, all of the Freedom of Information Act, all of the disclosure statements, and it took us almost a year to get the information required that would lead us to understand that there was a 3-month shift in a date that somebody missed on some paperwork that they were claiming him as fraudulent. He has stacks of letters of recommendation from Rangers, SEALs, and Green Berets saying this dude is the man. He should be an American citizen. And they denied him. They're denying the word of U.S. service members who placed their lives in his hands, and they're putting it in the hands of some contractors sitting in the middle of America somewhere.
And so, if I'm not wrong, this timeline, this is before the Taliban's takeover?
This is well beyond before the Taliban's takeover. He started this process in 2012. We began, really amping this up over the last year because we knew the handover was coming and we knew the country would collapse. So we started a GoFundMe in the late spring that, thankfully a bunch of people, got behind it, and we've asked for $15,000. We've raised over $70,000 at this point to help Monir get his family out. So we are going to use that money to help Monir, and then we're also going to use that money to help as many interpreters as families and their families get out as possible. So if you want to find the GoFundMe, go to combatflipflops.com. You'll see it on our homepage. You can go there and donate to help other interpreters and their families get resettled in foreign countries as refugees.
And so I can only imagine, since you said this was like well before the handover, how difficult it might be right now to do that, like to try and get into the U.S. considering everything that we're seeing, on the ground at the moment. So do you think the process is like probably even more worse than it was before?
I think the Department of State and all the spokespersons are flaunting the fact. All right, so I think we lost audio here. Let me know when you get me back. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You got me yet? No, not yet? How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, yeah, all right, I got you. All right. Can you hear me now still? All right, cool. The Department of State is currently flaunting the fact that they processed over 6,000 visas in the last 24 hours. They're patting themselves on the back about it when they had years, almost a decade, to process all that paperwork. They're flaunting the fact that they're using one of the largest airlifts in human history. It was totally avoidable. They're funneling everybody through this process, and right now what we're seeing is we're getting sent to us, we're getting images of passports in Pashto that need to be translated to English and then forwarded to the manifest managers, and people are sitting and waiting. And then once they sit and wait, then they have to grab themselves and their bags and all of their belongings and then make it through a Taliban obstacle course gauntlet. It only gets worse as they get closer to the airport, to get out of country. And all their names are on lists with them and their families, their children, their parents. It's an epic disaster. I don't even know if there's a word in the English language to describe how big of a disaster this is.
Okay, and so I'm kind of just curious, like in your opinion, what are some ways that it could have gone better, like the process?
What we could have done is we could have held our, again, go to the website sigar.mil, look at the Special Investigative General Reports on Afghan Reconstruction. Look at all of those reports that were delivered quarterly to Congress and see how the Department of State, USAID, and all of our diplomats failed on their mission, and we knew it over a decade ago. We should have refined those processes so much longer ago. We shouldn't have telegraphed our exfil. All we did was we built a military timeline for the Taliban. We should have had the Afghan interpreters go first, American citizens and diplomats go second, American soldiers go third, and then after we left, we should have bombed all of our military equipment into the ground. That's what should have happened.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if you can hear me, Matthew.
No, I just lost you there. Where'd you lose me?
No, I think bombed. That's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, so I'll just say I'll say it all over again. And the course of action we should have taken was to get all of the interpreters out of country first, American citizens and diplomats out of country second, and then U.S. service members out third. And lastly, as we left, we should have flown planes over everything and detonated all the military equipment that's now left behind and in the hands of the Taliban. We had the opportunity, the known protocols to take care of all of this, and we missed it. This is a huge forced error.
Okay, thank you. And I think I just kind of wanted to ask a a little bit more about the process. So after you guys kept getting denied from the US, you turned to the UK to get Munir and his family away safely, and now you're trying to get Munir into the US. Do you think he'll be able to come here?
We believe that we have enough funding to hire enough lawyers, and I think there's enough merit and weight and openings now in that SIV process that the State Department will see the error of their ways and grant him a visa to the United States. And we look forward to welcoming him with open arms.
And I was just kind of curious. Is Munir the only translator that you're working with? I know you said, I think that you mentioned that you're trying to work with others. Am I?
We're working with multiple people, and we will not mention their names or put their faces on air, as it puts them at risk as they try to leave the country.
Okay, thank you. And so I think I kind of just wanted to ask, like, if this falls through, will you have to stay in the UK, or what are your X, Y, and Z plans?
Right now, he can stay in the UK indefinitely. He's a competent individual. He's very well educated, very well spoken, and he's going to be a good UK citizen if the United States fails to, grant him citizenship status here. He'll be fine. He's a big boy. We believe in him. He's a good person.
Okay. And I think I kind of just wanted to know, outside of like translators, how do you think other people or their processes are to escape, basically?
So we work with one factory in Afghanistan that employs 44 men and 36 women. We're currently trying to get the males out that are in the ages of late teenagers to early 20s, because they're going to be forcefully recruited into the Taliban. We also work with an organization that funds girls' schools and educates girls in Afghanistan, and they've been very vocal about the Taliban since their foundation in 2001. We're currently trying to evacuate all of the administrators, financial managers, and those families out of country because we fear that they'll be targeted because they were so vocal against the Taliban for the last 2 decades.
And I think I just wanted to ask, like, what's the local efforts, at least, I know you mentioned you're from KUOW, right?
The local efforts right now are people are curious of what to do, and I would just encourage everybody to call their senators, call their congressmen, call their representatives, and the first thing we need to do is we need to repeal the authorized use of military force, the AUMF. That is the thing that allows the United States to wage war indefinitely around the planet. Next, we need to print out the SIGAR.mil report, the most recent one from August 16th, put it in a fat stack, and then walk it down to your congressman or your senator's office and ask them the tough questions, and then don't leave until you're satisfied. Make sure that they stay committed to changing these things in the future, so that way we don't put our young sons and daughters at risk anymore, we don't waste American tax dollars, and we don't further drive the reputation of America into the hole around the world.
And so I'm just a little bit curious, because I understand, if this is correct, Biden said everybody's supposed to be out by August 31st. Do you know if that's a feasible deadline?
That is not a feasible deadline. As a very clear, in the Rangers, my background is we would spend months with trained professionals to put 500 guys on an airfield and, on an evening. You're talking about moving tens of thousands of people out of an active combat zone right in the heart of our enemy. And I don't see how, the lowest private in the Rangers would recognize that this is not feasible. It's not able to get done. Everybody at risk is not going to be able to get out of country.
Yeah, and I at least in Washington State, I know 2 of our senators have tried to petition President Biden to, create a new refugee category. From my understanding, people can't really get refugee status unless they go out of a country, out of Afghanistan, into a separate country. But the borders are kind of closed right now, so yeah, I can.
That is the process. So our initial plan for Munir was to get him to Turkey. We had purchased a visa to Turkey so that way he can get to a UNHCR refugee camp where he could file for refugee status with the UN. So unfortunately, the intermediary process for a person to get to the US is they have to go to a third-party country, register with the UN, live there and wait until they get their paperwork. Hopefully they can make enough food and get enough food and water to survive during that time, and then afford airfare to get to whatever final destination they're going. It's a really difficult process.
And so I think you've already expressed this a little bit, but I wanted to just be clear, how are you feeling throughout this whole ordeal?
This was to be expected, so I think I was prepared for it. And I am channeling all of the sadness and anger and rage that I have into helping people see the ways that they can help these people get, I'm sorry, I'm gonna hit that one again from the top. I'm channeling all of my sadness, fear, and rage into something productive. We are working with as many people as we can to get them out of country. We're informing as many Americans as we can of what they can do to help by supporting No One Left Behind, a great resettlement firm. Start thinking about opening up your homes to refugees, start thinking about business owners or who you can hire, and really think about how we can take this from start to finish. Amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics, and now the Biden administration has done the very first step of about 50 to 100 steps to allow these people to lead normal lives over the next 1, 2, 5, 50 years.
Well, thank you so much, Matthew. You answered all the questions I had. Is there anything more you'd like to add? Maybe something that I didn't cover?
No, I think we're good. I appreciate your help today.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I'll make sure to send you and Munir the link.
Thank you.
For where to listen. Thank you so much again.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Any questions come in?
Just people agreeing with what you're saying.
Cool.
Someone asked if it was pre-recorded.
Right, yeah, this is a pre-recorded interview on NPR's, which is why we live stream everything, so that way you guys get it unedited and raw. Anyway, again, I'm going to go back and finish this live stream in the way that I started it. We understand everybody is concerned for their friends and country and those people at risk. If you know anybody, do not put their names and their faces out on social media. The enemy is smart, they're watching. All you're doing is giving them the ability to identify somebody faster and quicker, and we don't want to do that. So if you have names and faces out on the internet, scrub it immediately. Thank you. Bye.